Hi everyone, welcome to episode 11 of YarnAdelaide Knits podcast. A podcast mostly about knitting and bits and pieces of what's going on in that kind of community in Adelaide, in South Australia. My name's Nicole and coming to you from the northeastern suburbs of Adelaide, South Australia. Welcome back all regular viewers. Thanks for finding the time to stop by, and hope you're sitting down with a cuppa and you're knitting in tow. And welcome to any new viewers. Thank you for finding the time. It's great to have you stop by. I hope you like what you see. So in today's episode we have some finished objects, some works in progress, some guild news, got a few acquisitions and a few confessions of unstated acquisitions. A little bit about take charge of your stash for May for me, and I think I'm going to have a go at Stash Dash, which I'm sure many of you know about, I think, and I've got a little bit of news that's come in the mail as well. So let's get started. Let's start with some finished objects. I have 4 finished objects for this podcast. What's today? Today's the Wednesday the 15th of June. I did try and do this podcast on Sunday and I was about halfway through it, and the rest of the family were home and Scarlet was making a bit of noise, and it's like, okay, that's, you know, from an almost 2-year-old, that's alright. But then my husband came out, because I'm basically at a back veranda, back porch, so back door's just there. The summer rabbit hutch, when it gets too hot, is just there, but you can see the corner of, so they get sort of a bit of a draft and air conditioning coming from the house, because we've got evaporative air conditioning. So that means you end up having to leave the door open for it to ventilate successfully. So yeah, they get a bit of a draft there, so it's a bit cooler for them. Anyway, kept getting interrupted, and you would think your husband would make considerations, but no. Got very, very frustrating. Anyway, so this is take 2. So my first finished object is, I decided, it was a bit of a last minute thing and a pretty quick project to do. I made a Mylo vest for Scarlet. Let's see, and I chose to do the first lot of instructions in the instructions of the cable panel there. So I think it's like a plat cable, and I've used Cleckheaton Country 8-ply, used 4mm needles in my Knit Pro Symphonies. The variegated yarn is something that I dyed using white Cleckheaton Country a couple of months ago, and I used 3 different colours. There was a pink and 2 different kinds of tones of red, and then because I only dyed two balls of that, and I hadn't quite finished, so I had a leftover skein or ball of red Cleckheaton 8-ply. So yeah, I'm really happy with that, and it's really cute because Scarlet knows that I've knitted it for her and she loves it, and she's worn it a few times. It needs a wash because the camera won't show it up, thankfully, but there's a bit of food around the collar of it, as I'm sure you can understand from a 22-month-old. So yeah, so she's knit worthy, which I'm pretty proud of too, that she enjoys what I've knitted. And what else did I do? We went to the football on the 5th of June for Silas, my eldest, birthday. He turned 14. And I started this had been on the needles for a while, so it had been hibernating for a bit. It's a Ricky hat, and last year, late last year at the end of the season, so maybe August sometime. August? No, that would have been finals time, so it would have been late July, maybe early August last year. We went to the last Crows game, and it was a home game against West Coast, and I cast this on the week leading up to it, and I didn't get it finished. So I finished it the week leading up to going to the football, which was a week ago. So yeah. And the yellow and the red is Clicking in Country again, that I've got in my stash. And this was something that I had in my stash for a while. It's a what's it called? It's called Empire. It's a yarn that is, did I write it down in my notes? No. Something that Spotlight had. It's an 8-ply. It's got a bit of a fleck through it, so yeah. I'm not sure whether the camera is tape. So yeah, the Ricky hats are quite big, but it kept me very warm because it was nice and cold. And then I used, also wore my 3-colour cashmere cow. No, it's not a cow, it's a shawl. That I did in Crows colours as well. So yeah, and then I've also, that was done on 4mm needles as well. Classic 4mm needles, or number 8s in the old system. Or I think are they number 6s in the US? I can't remember. It's too hard, too many different ways to remember. So anyway, I have also finished some vanilla socks. Now these were going in the Grocery Girls Fancy Feet Kal, which is finishing, well, yesterday Australian time, sometime today Canadian time, being that they're a few hours behind Australian time. So these were in the Fancy Feet Kal. Something that I hadn't done before is the Fish Lips Kiss Heel. So I hadn't done that, so that was my new technique that I tried. Yarn is Kathy's Fibres, her Superwash sock, which is an 80-20, so 80% merino, 20% nylon. And the colour is called Primulas, which is quite pretty. It's got nice pinks and nice dark reddy pink, or fuchsia pink, and the purple with the white and a bit of grey through there, which is quite nice. I quite like it. The pink does remind me very much of the primula flower. That's why I bought it, because it did remind me of primulas. So yeah, and these socks will be for me. And usually, traditionally, the socks that I've knitted for myself, I haven't sewed in the ends. But these ones I have, so they'll be my first pair of socks for me that I've sewed in the ends. So I'm progressing and finishing taking pride in my own work for myself. So yeah. And then I did the Waiting for Rain shawl. I finished it, but I haven't blocked it, still haven't blocked it yet. On Sunday when I did my take one, I said that I hadn't blocked it and I was going to block it after I finished the podcast, but I didn't block it, and it's now Wednesday. But it will get blocked maybe today, depends on how the rest of my day pans out, being that I'm at the mercy of a 22-month-old and she's having a sleep at the moment. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. This is done in Madeline Tosh sock in the Rocky Mountain, so that's the variegated colour, the Rocky Mountain colourway, which is quite pretty. It's got lots of different colours in there. And then the plain colour is white gum wool in their ethical 4-ply or 3-ply. It says varying things. I think white gum will call it a 4-ply fingering, but Ravelry call it a 3-ply. So it worked. I'm really happy with the way this finished. When I chose the colours, they sort of matched, and then I was thinking that they don't match, but then they do. I quite like the way that they're finished. I think they've gone nicely together. It's always interesting trying to match colours, and what I know with myself, what I feel one day is not what I feel the next, so I can get a bit, can sort of turn myself in knots trying to settle on something, which can be frustrating for me and everybody else. But yeah, so that needs to be blocked. I did enter this into the Madeline Tosh Lovers group for their Mad May, and this was in the Waiting for Rain Kal, but I didn't win a prize, but that's alright. Got to be in it to win it. And it kind of, I had been looking at the Waiting for Rain shawl, which is by Sylvia Babilvia, and yeah, I sort of, yeah, I like it, but entering it into a Kal sort of tipped me over the edge to go ahead and buy it and put it on the needles. And they were done on 4mm Knit Pro interchangeables in the Symphony. So they're my 4 finished projects, which I'm pretty happy with. Now I have a few works in progress that I've sort of just started, being that I cast off 3 out of the 4 projects. Well, I suppose all 4 of them I'd cast off right at the end of May. So I when the needles were free, or what? No, they weren't free, because there's a few projects that are hibernating that aren't inspiring me to get out. I didn't do anything on my Cozy Memories blanket or the Weekender blanket, being that I'm a little bit sock obsessed at the moment, so I've been doing those sort of things. I guess because they're in Kals that I want to join in on, so yeah. So back to works in progress. This is another pair of vanilla socks that I'm hoping Tracy from the Grocery Girls hasn't blocked it off for their Fancy Feet Kal, but I have a feeling it's going to be. This is another vanilla sock in Kathy's Fibres, in the, what was her colourway? Colourway is Melandra 2, which is really pretty. And what I've done to enter the Fancy Feet Kal is that I have put a little cable in the gusset shaping, which has been inspired by Nathan from the Sockmatician. Can you see that? I can't see it very well due to variegation and what have you. Which I was going to keep going all the way through, but because it's on the bottom half of the needles, so essentially it's on the sole of the foot, I was worried that it was going, once it's in a shoe, it was going to irritate and have that ridge. And then I thought, well, maybe I could twist it so it ends up going on the top needles, but I didn't do it, I just stopped. So yeah, so that's that one, and I'm almost finished the second one. I had been madly knitting it all day yesterday. It took forever to turn the heel and get the gusset shaping, so you feel like you haven't gone anywhere. And then I lost one of my higher sharp needles, so I'm knitting it on 4 needles instead of 4 needles instead of 5. So that's a bit frustrating. So I've only got probably about another 10-15 rows to go before I start doing the shaping for the toe. So I'm almost there, but yeah, it's still going to take a couple of hours, so I don't think it's going to get into the Fancy Feet Kal, but it will be something that I can enter into the Bakery Bears Summer of Socks Kal, knit along, So that will be something that I can do for that one. Next I have, oh, that's one of my bags that I knitted. That I sewed up with the My Little Ponies, being that I like horses. I thought I had to have the My Little Ponies. And this one that I've cast on, I promised Silas I would knit him some fingerless gloves. I knit Elijah some fingerless gloves last year that he loves, that he wears all the time. So, and Silas wanted some in black, so they're the, I'm not sure whether you can really see it very well. It's a free pattern. They're the Koju fingerless gloves by Estrante. I think that's how you say it. Who knows? Any other language other than English. English is not really my thing. I really struggle with pronunciations. So yeah, I've cast them on. They're on 2.25 needles, double point, Knit Pro Symphonies. And I've only cast on and done a row. So they're still very much in the early stages. They're done in Bendigo Woolen Mills Luxury 4-ply, which is 100% wool, so it should be nice and warm for him. And then they'll go up to, I say to use 2mm needles and 2.5s, but I went up to 2.5s and I might use 2.75s or 3s for the hand part. And that's done in another one of my bags, which is pretty cool. Which is what are they? Cats with yarn balls. Which I'd love to have a cat. I grew up with cats, and my husband doesn't like cats. I think Elijah would like a cat. Silas doesn't care for a cat, and Scarlet would love a cat. Oh no, she would. She likes her. Her and Kitty, our dog, are quite funny together because they both vie for my attention. And Kitty's so very tolerant of Scarlet, which is very cute. So next on my needles is I've actually cast these on. I've cast on some socks for the father-in-law for Father's Day, which is first week in September, first Sunday in September. I've done the what are they called? SKYP. See, I did the SKYP hat, and I always thought it was a Skype hat, but it's more a knitting terminology rather than the app Skype. But anyway, so yeah, I'm doing those socks. Again, another free pattern on Ravelry. These ones are by, what is that? Adrienne Koo. So it's just a little bit of texture through the pattern, where you do, what's it called? You do Skype, what's it say? The SKYP was actually an abbreviation that was used, which is slip one, purlwise with yarn in back, knit one stitch, yarn over, pass slip stitch over the last two stitches, knit one and yarn over. So yeah, which yeah, I've noticed a few people have been casting on those as part of, yeah, on a few different podcasts. Oh, sorry, I haven't showed you the yarn. It's nothing real special, it's just something that was in my stash and I have cast it on. I've only just cast on the stitches, I haven't even done a row yet. I've just cast them on and divvied them up into needles. And they're on 2.5 Knit Pro Symphonies, and that's, I think that's just a Modavira Noir Spotlight sock yarn that does a bit of self-striping. And again, my father-in-law is knit-worthy because I knit him some socks. It was either for his birthday earlier this year or for Father's Day last year, and he loves them, and he tells everybody if they're out and about, he'll tell people that his daughter-in-law made them for him. That's what my mother-in-law said, so I'm quite proud of that. So he's knit worthy, so he can have another pair. Let me have a drink. It's a little bit of H2O. So next that is coming up on my needles, I haven't actually cast it on yet, is now that Elijah's got his fingerless gloves, he has put a request in to some full finger gloves, so some normal gloves essentially, because the tips of his fingers get cold. So I was looking through Ravelry, and there was nothing that, with all the patterns that I had or that I've logged in Ravelry, that came up when I was looking for gloves. There was, and the free patterns, there was nothing really, just a plain pair of gloves. I think I do have a pattern from an old Paintings hat, beanies and socks pattern book, but it's really hard to get to, so I have just printed something off. I've chosen to do the knotty gloves, which are a little bit cabled, but I wasn't going to do the cable, I was just going to make them a plain cuff. But I liked sort of the way, I don't know, they photographed well, so they got my vote for going to cast them on. Again, another free pattern from Ravelry. Now, next I have I went down to, being that this weekend was a long weekend, with the Queen's birthday long weekend, we went down, or me and the boys and Scarlet went down to the Fishermans Wharf markets at Port Adelaide, where it's a lot of second-hand market, and Melissa from Stranded in Oz has her market stall down there on the weekends, as well as you can buy her yarn and fibre from her website. And I bought some yarn, even though I also just bought a couple of balls of her yarn over at the Guild Open Day last month as well. So, and I've been wanting to do some monkey socks since the pattern came out a few years ago. So it's something that, yeah, I'll get to it, yeah, I'll get to it. And now sort of that I've been taking note of, I've knit a few pairs of socks over the years, and taking note as to my foot size and the way I like to do socks, because I've tried them cuff down, toe up, two at a time magic loop. I haven't tried a singular magic loop, and I think I've mostly done them on double pointed needles. I'm waiting for YarnAdelaide Chiagu order to come through. Well, one of their orders came through, but the needles that I wanted, Chiagu, were out of stock, so I didn't get my 2.5. I was going to do two needles at a time, sort of, I guess it's two circulars at a time. It's kind of magic loop, but it's not really, no, it's not magic loop. Or is it? I don't know, I'll figure it out when I get them. But I'm waiting for them to come in, so I can try them like that. And anyway, so the monkey socks I was going to give a go, and and this is one of the yarns that I bought. I've already caked it up from Melissa. It's her Ozzy sock base, which is a merino nylon base. I'm not sure what colour this is, because she hasn't labelled her tag what colour it's called, but it's nice, dark and wintry, with the rich teal blue with some browns and some greens. So yeah, that will knit up quite, and as they say, the monkey socks go really nicely with variegated yarn, so that will variegate up nicely. I think I've seen one of the ladies at Guild with this, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so that's what I will do with that. And she gave me these needles to try, which are, they are Nirvana Needle Arts, which are distributed by Knitting Zone Incorporated. They're made in India, and I think they are mango wood. She had mango, which is the pale colour, or there was ebony. And I hummed and hard because I wanted the ebony, but I thought practically I probably should get the lighter needles. And it was only because I'd cast on Silas's fingerless gloves and I was having trouble actually seeing them because of the black yarn. And yes, I must be getting older because that usually doesn't bother me. But my sight is starting to give me grief. So yeah, that's what I will be casting on with those. I think as soon as I finish those other vanilla socks, I can get stuck into these and get stuck into Grandpa's or the Daryl's socks as well. And then I can cast on Elijah's gloves too. Because I think once Grandpa's, the father Daryl's socks are cast on, they'll be fairly easy and easy to do. And same as Silas's fingerless gloves. The hand part will be just stocking out, so that'll be easy enough to do. Because I have a feeling that we will probably be going to the cinemas. Me and the kids will go to the cinemas soon, being that Finding Dory is coming out. And even though my eldest is 14, Finding Nemo was his favourite as a toddler, so he has a fondness for Finding Nemo, and with Finding Dory coming out, it will. And my husband claims that Dory was one of his first words, which I don't really think it was. It was probably, oh yes, one of his first words, but not his first word. So yeah, so we have to go see Finding Dory. And I think because Scarlet knows who Dory and Nemo are, her attention span might be there for it, which will be good too. So, acquisitions. I need to confess something because I haven't accounted for these 2 lots of yarn in my Take Charge of my stash. So I will show you them and account for them in this month, which I think theoretically I haven't shown you because I did buy these in May, so they will go into May take Charge of your stash. So along with my dyeing, I thought I've run out of yarn that I wanted. Well, I've still got some light coloured commercial yarn, but I wanted to dye some of my own and see how. And because they're commercial, they're superwash yarn, I wanted to see what just untreated wool would come at and see how my skills are with not felting it. So I bought some undyed ethical merino from YarnAdelaide in the Fork Life in the fingering weight, and I will dye that up. I think I've said something about dyeing this up on my previous podcasts of wanting to dye it with red. I want to do one as just a grey, and then I wanted to do one as a speckle with grey, black and red. And then I've got some, perhaps the yarn that I bought last month from Kathy's Fibres, the red speckle. I will incorporate that and use those 3 colours in, there's the patterns that I won from Xena last month. What was it called? It was, where is it? I won the Coffee with Cece ebook, and she's got a nice 3-coloured shawl in that I was thinking that's what I'll do with it. That's what I'm thinking at the moment. It may change. Who knows? Who knows what I'm feeling on the actual day. So yeah, so that'll be interesting to see how they come up. I'm toying with the idea of doing some more dyeing, as well as the making the project bags. I just can't settle on a name for, I guess, my Etsy shop that will end up being the platform that I sell it on. I can't, yeah, it's still not sitting well with me. And I don't know whether I'd just be Cola Girl, which is my Ravelry ID, and Cola Girl 74 is where you can find me on Instagram. So whether I just do Cola Girl or Cola Girl Makes or whatever, it's nothing. I can't settle on anything. I don't know. And because Cola Girl is just a play on my name, Nicole, that my girlfriend years ago gave me when, instant messaging and Yahoo groups and that sort of, with messaging to back and forth 15 odd years ago, when the internet, that sort of thing started happening. That was the ID, the avatar ID that we came up with. So I've been Cola Girl ever since then. So that's sort of trying to be consistent with that. And yeah, it's like my husband's Sir Juggalot, because one of his names called him that, one of his mates called him that, and yeah, and his nickname with his mates has been Jug. So yeah, Sir Juggalot. If you're a gamer, you might find him on Battlefront and Warhawk and that sort of thing. So yeah, or The Witcher, although he hasn't played it for a while. So yeah, anyway, let's go keep it relevant on to yarn. So I bought those, and then I bought 4 balls of yarn from Spotlight to go in my weekender blanket. I bought two grey and a pink, a pale muted pink, and a greeny grey sort of colour to go in the weekender blanket, because I was worried that I wasn't going to have enough 8-ply yarn and I wanted to keep it in the muted tones. So I got 2 of these, and they were four for $10. So I thought, yep, that'll do. I'm not spending too much money. And then that's it, no more. That's what I was telling myself when it happened. Well, I want to spend my money more wisely and rather than buying yarn that's on sale, I want to more purchase, I don't want to, rather than buying commercial yarn that's on sale, I want to support more the wider community, and buy more indie dye yarn, more yarn that has a story behind it. So yeah, so with my other acquisition that I bought, well, in saying that, I'll show you some yarn that I bought, that my friend went home to England last month, and she came home with some Tamar yarn from Blackie Yarns, which I did a test knit for Sonia earlier, a couple of months ago now, with some patterns that she was releasing with the Tamar yarn when it came out. So I was pretty stoked that I was able to, and she was going home. She lives near Plymouth, or lives in the Plymouth area, so Blackie Yarns is not too far from there. And yeah, she was going home, so can you get me some, please? And yeah, so I got the greeny colour called With Your Brook. Oh, yeah, Whitsey Brook, and the muted grey. It's sort of grey brown, called Flancy. it's funny, when she sent me a message on Facebook and took a photo, and the grey came up pink. So I'm thinking, because I told her which colours I wanted, and it's like, and then because it had been weeks apart, I go, oh, did I order a pink? Oh, that's okay. I can't remember ordering the pink. And then when I got it, it was a grey. So yeah, so they will go into something yummy. And they do. It's weird because it's a luster blend, so it doesn't say the composition, but she has talked about it, but I can't remember. I've heard her talk about it on the Curious Handmade audio podcast, and yeah, and because it has a longer fibre, because it has a bit of a halo, it has a longer fibre wool in it, blend in it, that will give it its strength to also use for socks, even though it doesn't have any nylon in it, because it's still 100% wool. And yeah, and it feels like the old style wools, but it has that softness to it as well. I think because it does have a little, if I remember correctly, maybe I'm completely wrong and getting my compositions all wrong, but it does have a little bit of mohair in it as well. But it's still, yeah. So yeah, I can't wait to cast something on, but nothing's jumping out at me that I must cast on with it yet, so I'll have to go looking for the perfect. I might have to just sit in my stash for a little bit so I can pat it. And then some of the other skeins that I bought from Melissa at Stranded in Odds on the weekend. So bought that one, again, that's in the Ozzy sock, the Nylon Moreno. I have a feeling that I bought this colourway, which I'm not sure what the name of the colour is, in an open date, but I think I bought it on her Dye My Pretties with nylon base. I have to have a double check, but it is really nice. Kind of similar to the blue base, but it's got purples instead of. Melissa likes, and a little bit of green as well. Melissa seems to like to dye up the really dark, rich colours, which is nice. It's nice that the indie dyers in Adelaide, they have their own, you can tell their dyeing styles and what colours, yeah, which is good. It's nice to have that variance and that, what's the word? I can't think of it. That, I guess, as a consumer, it's nice to be able to have those different styles, that you have it all at your doorstep. You don't have to travel too far for it, so to speak. So yeah, and then she had a couple of balls in her bargain bin of Zarina, which is their sport 4x4 sport weight, 100% wool. Who's that from? What are they called? Filentura de Croza. So yeah, they're 100% wool. They're from Italy. And the way that's twisted gives really nice stitch definition to you. So I'm not sure what I'll knit Scarly for that, but that's who I had in mind with it. And then something else, sort of, I had a couple of mini skein swaps come in the mail. So I joined the mini skein swap for the Grocery Girls, which was a mini skein swap and tea swap. And my swap partner was Sabine from Germany, and I got her mini skeins. So the reason that I like to do these swaps is because you get to showcase what you have on offer in your hometown or what in your country, and you get to have a tasting of what they have on offer in their country or in their area if you end up being from the same country. So there's lots of, what we've got a little bit of Wallamais. I think I've heard of this before, Rosy Green Wool as well. And then there's, what was that? That was Regia. And so, some of these are in German, so I can't pronounce them very well. Dream, I think that, I haven't heard of that one before, so that'd be interesting. And Lana Grossa. And online, I've knitted a few pairs of socks in online, which are very similar to Opal. And Mumphy. It's quite a cute colour. So yeah, and yeah, some of them I can't pronounce. Sorry, but then lots of blues, and I think I'm going to. I saw in the grocery, not the grocery girls, the bakery bears. Kay had done a big European pillow, and covered it in Mitre Cozy Memory blanket cushion cover. And I thought I could knit one of those for each of the kids to have on their bed, because both the boys have got TVs and computers in their rooms now, so they'd use their bed as their couch, and a nice big European pillow would be nice and cosy for them to sort of half sit up when they're watching TV in their room. So yeah, and I got them to pick three colours, three of their favourite colours that they wanted it, so I used those themes for each of their blankets, or each of their cushion covers, and get nice big European pillows for them. Where's that bird? Oh, you're down there. So yeah, and being that Elijah chose blue, green and yellow, and Silas chose maroon or red, purple for some reason, and was it black or was it blue? I can't remember, I'll have to ask him again. And then I thought for Scarlet it would be red, pink and purple. I get to choose those. And so yeah, so these will all go in for them. And a heap of chocolates as well that I devoured. And some teas, which I've tried. I think I've tried about half a dozen different teas, which was really good. That me and Justin sort of tend to have a cup of tea after the kids go to bed each night. A cup of tea, or my battery died. And so it gave me a chance to have some lunch while it was charging and make a coffee. So where was I up to? Now I was talking about acquisitions, yes. And just showed you what I got from the Bargain Boom. Did I thank Sabine? Thank you for your parcel. It was great. Had fights over the chocolates with the rest of the family, and they had to be told it was for me, not them. But they did get some in the end as well. So yeah. Next, I suppose that leads me into take charge of my stash for May. It's something that Zena from the Little Yellow Uke podcast started, and I thought yes, because it was a year that I was trying to essentially take charge of my stash and use more out of my stash than what was going in. Except the last couple of weeks, it's like I'm sick of you know how sometimes you restrain yourself from buying what you impulsively want to buy, with whether it's yarn or anything, and then sometimes you just have to unleash, and I felt like that had been this month a little. So yeah, but I'm still up. I'm still up, not as much as what I was, but I'm still up. So stash out so far this year had been 2.175 kilos of yarn, or completed projects, ready to wear. So plus the socks, which were 70 grams, the rookie hat, which was 95 grams, and the waiting for rain shawl was 170 grams. I had done nothing on my Crazy Memories blanket or my Weekender blanket this month, so nothing was able to be added to that. So that brings me up to 2.510 kilos in total. And my stash in, which so far up to the end of April was 1,300 grams, so 1.3 kilos. I had, what was that? Okay, the 4 skeins that I got at the open day, which are 4 by 100 grams. That was 2 from Stranded in Oz, 1 from Kathy's Fibres, and 1 from Ren and Ollie. And the 4 50 grams of the Spotlight yarn that I got, so that's 200 grams, and then 2 of the undyed skeins that I got. I didn't allow, haven't allowed for my 2 100 grams skeins of, I might be down now. I think I am. Oh, hang on. No, I haven't added. These I can add because this was in May, but the stuff that I bought on the weekend was in June, so I don't get to add it yet. Thank you. I can justify it. Okay, so I didn't add these 2 skeins. So that means plus another 200. So for May there was 4, 6, 8, a kilo of yarn. 4, 6, 8. Wow. So that brings me up to 2.3 kilos out. In. So that leaves me only 210 grams up. I think I need to do some Crazy Memory squares. And I don't count acquisitions in, minis. But they do get added as out. Shall I ignore that? Or is the good fairy telling me that I should justify it? Well, then that's too much to account for. Let's not. So yeah, so I'm still 210 grams up. Oh, something that I did forget to talk about in my acquisitions is that I got the Alpaca brooch that I won from the Yarn Woman podcast in the mail as well. And we did a bit of a mini skein swap too. And she sent me, she got 2, 4, 6 minis. So yeah, I might save them for the kids' pillow covers that I'm going to do, because my Cozy Memories blanket takes up about 6-7 grams of yarn, so I end up with a lot of the minis that I get swapped with falling a little bit short. So if I save them for the pillows, which I plan to knit them smaller, that will work out a bit better, I think. So yeah, so I'm still up in Take Charge of My Stash. And another incentive that I've come across to help me move things out, to help me take charge of my stash, is doing Stash Dash from the Knit Girls podcast. And so that started on the 27th or the 28th of May. So all my projects that I've finished have been counted into that. So I'm not sure what, because that runs for a few months. I think runs to August sometime. I'm not sure, I don't really know, because this would be my first time having a go at it, whether what meterage I should do, whether I do the 3K or the 5K or even the 7K. So far I estimated my waiting for rain shawl was 679 metres, The Mylo vest was 242.25 metres, and the Ricky hat was 171.6 metres, and my socks were 279.72 metres. So that gave a total of 1372.57 metres, which made it, 1k 372.57 metres. So yeah, which I thought was interesting. It'd be interesting to see how many things I get completed at the end of June. I might need to get something that's hibernating off the needles, and that always is a good way to boost up. And I think that's what Stash Dash is designed to do, is that it's about clearing the needles and working from your stash, which I've got on a scarf, the little Keener cardigan, which hopefully will still fit Scarlet, which is almost finished, which I should get off the needles, and that will give it a nice boost. And same as my what's it called? I've showed it once. It is, let's have a look and see if I've written it down, because I forget what it's called. Might be. No, my Head of Food Aid cardigan's still in the naughty corner. I think I need to pull it back and start the shaping for the waistband to do the drop stuff. Where is it? No. I don't know what I'd do without show notes, I tell you. My brain is so fried with remembering things. I used to be known for my memory since having kids, and then after, it took me, I don't know whether this is true or not, but everything, all your body, I don't know, but whether it's true, your body soften for childbirth, and I wonder whether your brain turns to mush too, and it takes 7 years or something for it to firm back up again after giving birth. And yeah, my memory's not, and my memory was getting good because Elijah will be 12, which is the youngest of my two boys. I'll be 12 in December, and before I fell pregnant with Scarlet, my memory was going good. And then now, having Scarlet and being that she's almost 2, my memory is, some things I can remember really well, and names and what have you I used to be able to remember really well, but now maybe I'm just early signs of Alzheimer's or something, or just old age in general, don't know. But yeah, and things I can't remember. What was that cardigan? There's a lace weight cardigan that I was doing, and that's almost finished because I'm trying to pick up the stitches around for the band, and I haven't written it down anywhere, so according to my show notes it doesn't exist, but maybe that might be something else that I can finish off, and that would be good for Stash Dash, for meterage. So yeah, and some guild news. Last month we had Pam Shatner from knittingforcharities.org come in. She's the founder of the South Australian branch of Knitting for Charities, and she came in and gave a talk, and it was quite inspiring. And she gave a talk about I think the South Australian branch, they meet at the Campbelltown Golf Course Club Rooms once a month. I'm not sure when exactly that is. And I think in a few ladies from the guild go there, there's a lady that from my Friday knitting group goes there as well, and she's always collecting as well as, yeah. And she gave a talk of the various things that they're looking for Knit for Charities and how it all started, where she just put a message in an ad in the local messenger newspaper. Yeah, which was pretty awesome. And if you want more information, you can find it at www.knittingforcharities.org. I might put something about that across the screen. Yeah. And yeah, and that way you can, if there's things that you like to knit and or you don't have anybody to knit for anymore, but you would like to still keep the clickety-clack going, yeah, you can do that. And a lot of people still do that, because the knit-worthy people out there aren't as many as what they used to be, shall we say. An upcoming workshop next month on the 2nd of July, the finishing touches. I think that's designed to coincide with thinking about your entries for the Royal Show and trying to promote entering some of your knitted garment projects, garments, toys in the Royal Show, which is the first week in September. I'm still in a conundrum of what I want to enter myself, or whether I do enter this year. I don't know, I've just fallen a bit flat on it. I've entered for, the last 4 or 5 years, and I'm a bit, I don't know, I'm not feeling inspired as much as what I used to, and determined to preserve the craft, and that was the whole reasoning for me to enter into it. But I did watch Little Bobbin's Knits podcast this morning, her current one, and she's just finished a cardigan that looked very interesting to construct, which kind of tickled my fancy as an entry. It's more about the uniqueness of its construction, rather than, so that would therefore create a lot of different techniques, but whether the judge can see those techniques in the construction of it, I don't know. But yeah, and I think I didn't let my camera charge enough again, so it's dying. It's got 1 bar left again already, and it had 3 when I restarted. But yeah, and then in the August Join As You Go knitting is the August workshop. So yeah, just a few dates to remember. I guess from the Royal Adelaide Show, entries are due on Friday the 24th of June, and finishing touches workshops on the 2nd of July, and Knitting As You Go workshops on the 6th of August. Now there was also the Beanie Festival is on the Alice Springs Beanie Festival is on the 24th to the 27th of June. No, I'm pretty sure that's July. It's not, I'm not 100% sure on that. Oh, Worldwide Knitting in Public Day. Everybody organised. That's on the 18th of June. I know our Friday knitting group usually have tables in the library itself for Worldwide Knitting in Public Day. So I'm not sure what date what day the 18th of June is this year. Let's have a look. 18th of June is a Saturday, so we might do something on the 17th. And then the Sewing, Stitches and Handcrafts fairs on the 15th to the 17th of July. And who's going to Bendigo Sheep and Wool show on the 17th to the 19th of July? I did toy with the idea, and I knew that I did want to drive over there with Mum, but I don't think it's going to happen. And then there's the Fibre and Fleece show at Mount Pleasant on the 13th of August, and the Royal Adelaide Show the 17th to the 11th of September, and the Quilt and Craft Fair at the Showgrounds, again from the 3rd to the 6th of November. There's some dates for you guys to remember if you're in the Adelaide area or local to Bendigo or Mount Pleasant or Alice Springs. Yeah, the Guild had their open day, which I talked about last podcast, and then I think a week later the Adelaide Hill Spinners and Weavers had their open day, and I was going to go, but I didn't end up getting there. I think I got a bit shocked out at our open day, and I thought, no, I spent enough at our open day. But then there was I kind of wish that I had gone now, but yeah, didn't happen. That's all right. So I think I have almost finished. Oh, I should tell you what I'm wearing. You're all dying to know, I know. Not really, is. This is my saddleback cardigan by Jennifer Hagen that I knit last year. This was one of my entries for the Royal Show last year. It starts off with, I don't know whether you can see it, but it's quite detailed at the back, and it starts off across the top with the saddle, and then you pick up stitches and work down, and then pick up stitches along here for the shoulders, and then and then short row sleeves starting from the top down, and lots of cabling, which I love. So yeah, this gets a good wear in the cooler months, which I love. I love how it keeps its shape and just fits nicely. And then this is my it's one of Yohi Locatelli's designs, and I can't pronounce her stuff when she writes them in Spanish. I'm really hopeless at it. What's it called? It's J-U-Y, whether it's hoo-hee, maybe? Something like that. Because I remember when this was off the needles and I showed you guys, I called it Juji. So, I don't. So yeah. And yeah, it's funny. I love this kind of, what is it? Coral, apricot, pinky, orange colours. But I don't wear this as much as what I thought I would, because it's hard to coordinate it in my wardrobe. But yeah, so when I get the opportunity, I love it. It's really nice. So I think everything I have to tell you about, I get to tell you about. Oh, my knit along, it's almost finished. Well, what's the date? I think we've got one more week to go. So I think it finishes on the 21st of June. It's basically Winter is Coming, knit along. So get your finished objects in the Ravelry group. That's the YarnAdelaide Knits podcast Ravelry group. You'll find it in the groups section of Rav. Yeah, join in the chatter. We've got a $20 gift voucher from Knit Spin Weave as one of the prizes for the finished objects thread, and I've got a project bag and some stitch markers and progress keeper. So project bag and the voucher will be in the finished objects thread, and the stitch markers and the progress keeper will be prizes in the chatter thread. So yeah, I hope you guys can finish something and put it in there. I'd love to see what you guys are working on and joining the chatter on the Ravelry group. I think that is everything. I know there will be something that I've forgotten, and that's why I try and write as much detail in my notes as I possibly can. So, okay, let's say goodbye. Alright, have a good week, guys. Enjoy your knitting. If you're not enjoying your knitting, I don't know what I can do to help you. Alright. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. See ya.